Welcome to Rick's Corner, where we talk wrestling. Hi, and welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a guest today, a very special guest to me, Andy Jasse, who also wrestles as Davey Jones. Now, Andy came to me about 8 years ago. He was attending Grant High School down the street and used to come over and sit in my ring and stare at it because his dream was to be a wrestler. He didn't want to be a student in high school, right?
No, I'd much rather do this.
Yeah, he didn't have any clue to do that. So we began training. We had a few guys over here. My son Shane trained with him. Shane and Andy had quite a few matches.
Yeah, we had about 3 or 4 matches together.
Would you say that you learned a lot from Shane?
Oh, a lot. A lot of things I do now I still take from what Shane taught me back in the day. So
we wish Shane was still wrestling, but he's in the music now, so that's another story. But I'm going to interview him one day too. Anyway, Andy became a wrestler like his dream, and he became a very good one. And he's known in many circles of wrestling very, very well. But he took it to another level. He became a promoter, didn't you?
Yeah, I started my own promotion down in San Diego, California.
And what's the name of your promotion?
New Wave Pro Wrestling.
And it's on MySpace?
At myspace.com/New Wave Pro Wrestling or newwaveprowrestling.com.
You've got to go and take a look at this page because he has all of his photos, has all his shows on video, all the wrestlers he uses. He trains wrestlers in San Diego, does a good job because he trained under my supervision.
There you go.
Which helped him a lot. And he has a successful promotion. So many today who run shows fail.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think the biggest problem is with them failing?
A lot of people jump into the wrestling business or the wrestling promoting business not really knowing the business part about wrestling. And it's not just wrestling. It's not just going out and having a good time in front of your friends and family. If you're in the wrestling business to entertain people, your friends and family, just have a good time, then you're in the wrong business. Just like any other business professional. So you come to work dressed nice. When you come to wrestle, you shake hands with everybody in a certain way that we do. You come in dressed. You don't need to be in a suit and tie, but a nice shirt, maybe some khakis or some nice pair of jeans. You come in, you show respect to everybody. It's the same thing when you're coming in to do a show. You're not coming in to wrestle for yourself. You're coming in to wrestle for your promoter for the night, who happens to be your boss. And a lot of promoters fail to understand that they are the boss, they are the owners of the promotion, and they need to run it as a business. And that's what's not being done these days.
And that's what we talked about. Kevin and I talked about that, K-Dub. And actually, Fernando and I talked about that. You go like a professional. Like he says, you come in well-dressed, with manners, you shake hands with everybody, and you treat it like a business. Wrestling is a business. It's not about you. It's not about you coming to the match and the whole show is about you. It's not. You've got 12 other guys or 13 other guys there that they're all on the card. It's about everybody working together. The first match has to be different than the second match.
Absolutely.
Third match has to be different than the second match or first match. They all have to be different finishes, and they have to have different things going on. You just don't do 5 matches all with universal spots.
No, absolutely not.
And there's so much of that. And it's not all matches. And here's another point, because I've said this so many times, and in your school and your promotion, it's not all about jumping off the top rope.
Oh, no. Too many people these days want to be the Hardy Boys. Too many people these days want to be like the TNA guys, the high flyers and the lightweights, and jumping off of big things and doing big flips and everything. And a lot of those people that come in and want those aspirations fail to even do a headlock the right way. And that's something that's not only going to be damaging to your wrestling aspect, but it's also disrespectful to those who have learned nothing but that for maybe years before they even got into the ring, prior to you even getting in that particular ring.
Well, that's true, because when we started training here, I was very, very adamant about old school.
Absolutely. You
had to know how to wrestle. You had to know how to sell the crowd. I didn't even have you go off the top rope.
No.
Wasn't important.
No.
And that's just such a bad thing today when you guys send me videos about, look at me on the trampoline, watch me do this and do that, and it's all over the place, and it's like, okay, I can see Circus of the Stars and see that.
Absolutely.
What about the in-between stuff, the selling? I mean, to get your people to come back every week or every time you run a show, you have to have an angle. It has to be interesting. People want to have to spend money to watch that person.
Absolutely. You're telling a story. You're not just going in there and doing move after move after move. It all has to tie in. One move has to mean something to the next move, and so on and so forth. So you're not just going in there and performing a whole bunch of different moves and making yourself or your opponent look great. Your sole purpose in that ring is to tell a story to the audience. Take them up. It's like a roller coaster ride. You take them up and you bring them down. You take them around. You do a loop maybe, and you throw them for all these little twists and turns. And before they know it, the match is over, and they're either really, really happy or really, really sad, depending on the outcome. And that's your ultimate goal: is to take the audience through a storytelling aspect. And that's what somebody's not doing.
It's a journey. It's a journey for them.
Yeah.
With a happy ending.
Absolutely.
And we all know what happy endings are. because we've all dated. No, it's a different.
Same happy ending.
Same happy ending. It's a different happy ending. But you have to realize that when you watch these shows, and WWE isn't really the great example of that because they've gone off on tangents with storylines way out in God knows where.
Yeah, another thing about WWE is it's not so much about the wrestling now. It's mostly about the drama, which is fine because I even teach these days is maybe wrestling comes even secondary to your story that you're telling, which is understandable because people nowadays they have adapted the WWE style and maybe they want to see that. But it's very important to keep the old school methods of wrestling as well. Not to mention the fact that WWE has an entirely different school on how they teach their wrestlers. They teach them to work mainly to work the hard cam, which is something that you see a lot of independent promotions don't exactly have a hard cam to work with. So if you notice, maybe if they do a shoulder tackle or a drop down or something, they'll run a different way than what the schools around here are teaching you to do because they need to be facing that hard cam all the time. They need to be working that hard cam all the time. If you come in and you see, if you see, say, MVP come in, he'll always do his little move when he comes into the ring and does a little balling thing and he throws the basketball. That's always toward the hard cam. And that's something a lot of people aren't catching these days. It's a very, very different style of wrestling. So if you ever watch WWE and want to take notes off of it, you can learn certain moves. That's fine. But the actual way of telling a story is not there because they have something a lot of promotions nowadays don't have, and they have a lot of TV exposure. And unfortunately, in the independents, and especially when you're just starting out, you don't have that. So you need to tell the story in the ring because nobody really knows who you are.
That's true. And what he means by hard cam, he means the camera. Your eye level is the camera. Whatever you see a camera, if you can see the camera, I can see the camera sees me. And when you're in the ring, if you can see the camera, work to that camera. Now, like the independent shows where there is no camera, but there's people who have cameras, I was always taught old school. You pick one guy in the audience and you aim your stuff towards that guy. You try to get eye contact with one person, and you try to piss him off or whatever it takes to get him involved with you. If he gets involved with you, other people get behind him, and they get involved with him and you. So you're involving yourself with him and all the people behind him. And then you can pick a guy on the other side and do the same thing, but this involves the audience if there is no cam. So that's a very good point because I even use camera, as you saw today in my school out here. I use it to the guys because a big part of training we do in the ring, and Andy knows this, he's here today at my school. A big part of the training is working the camera. And doing promos.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you can do promos and you can speak intelligently and speak like a human being where people understand you, it'll improve your skills in the ring, and it works every time.
A lot of schools don't even include that. If for those of you watching this right now, if you're actively involved in a school and you're going to a school and you've been going for a few months or however long it may be, and they have not yet got you in front of a camera, maybe a camera aspect, you may want to start considering going to other schools, especially if your main goal is going to the WWE or TNA, because you need to have a personality, you need to have a character, you need to have a gimmick, and you need to know how to talk in front of people. And if your skills are not improved throughout that school as well as your wrestling is, then you're not going to really make it in the big business.
He's absolutely right. Sometimes you guys watch Rick's Corner and you see me talking by myself out here and it's explaining the old school, like with the licensing and the promotion and learning to be a license. You see me talking like that. There's nobody here but me. And I've learned to talk to the camera because my camera's my friend. And that way it puts me at ease here, and it also put me at ease in the ring when I was wrestling. So that's a very good point.
Absolutely. Stay in character, man. You can't just develop the wrestling skills and not have a character to go with it. The character it almost takes precedence over the wrestling. Exactly. If you have a great character, and that's what really sells. When you hear the term selling in wrestling, that's what a lot of people are talking about, really selling your gimmick, because what you're doing, you're selling the character, you're making the audience believe what you're doing is absolutely true. And that's the best part about wrestling right there, is getting wrapped into the storyline, and that's how you get wrapped into it.
Well, you've heard it from him, you've heard it from me, you've heard it from the other guys, but Andy is a good promoter. He's one of the best promoters here in California, and I wanted you to hear this from him because he's the one that hires you. He's the one that hires the guys to be on his card, and he knows what he's looking for. So now when you ask me, what does it take to become WWE wrestler, or what does it take to become a wrestler, he just validated everything I've ever told you. Set your sights high and go for your goals. Go to his website, newwaveprowrestling.com.
Yes, sir.
myspace.com/newwavewrestling, pro wrestling, and take a look at what he's got down there. Yeah. He'll be back with us, and he'll do some more interviews, but I just wanted you to meet him. He's a great guy. Davey Jones is his wrestling name, and he's fun to watch. Go there and watch what he does.
Thanks a lot.
And I really appreciate you having here.
Thank you.
You're just like a son to me. He grew up with me.
I did.
Well, he grew up, I stayed the same. But regardless of that, he's here, and thanks so much for watching Rick's Corner, and we'll see you next week. Stay tuned next time for more Rick's Corner, where we'll talk wrestling.